In January of 2013, I played Fallout New Vegas for the first time. Of course, by that point, all content by Obsidian was released, and it was the final version of the game. I never suffered the launch issues a lot of players claim to have, and I missed out on experiencing content that was either altered or cut from the game in order to improve the performance. So I decided to buy the game for PS3, which is considered to be the worst part of the game, and play the game unpatched. Why? For morbid curiosity, science, and to make a video series that no one will watch. The common sentiment is that the PS3 version crashes and lags a lot more. This is mainly due to memory issues with the hardware and the size of the save file. The more your character does, the worse it gets. I did some preparations before starting this playthrough, which consisted of asking Reddit, Discord servers, browsing the fandom wiki, and binge watching Triangle City. I have a list of things that I want to check out, but if there's anything specific you guys want to see, please leave a comment either on YouTube, Discord, or wherever you see this video posted. Surprisingly, there were a few people on Reddit that said the PS3 Ultimate Edition of New Vegas is the worst version, as that has to load DLC assets. All the DLC is on the disc rather than installed on the hard drive from a download, which means the PS3 has to work a little harder. I don't have the Ultimate Edition, just the standard, so no DLC. This is good because the Ultimate Edition is patched as far as the last DLC, so I wouldn't be getting the true vanilla experience, just a laggier version of a game I've already played. Additionally, when I was asking people on both r/FNV and r/PS3, a few people defended the PS3 version, saying that they didn't have many issues with the game, and that it crashed less than the PC version. I'll admit, I can believe that. Without mods or unofficial patches, the game crashes a lot on PC, and from my experience, it feels like the better your hardware, the more unstable Fallout New Vegas becomes. It might be an issue with modern drivers and Windows updates. All I know is that I don't remember the game crashing this much, like 10 years ago, the first time I played it. There were also people that claimed how bad the PS3 version was. One person had lost a 100-hour deep playthrough, and another person had to buy an Xbox just to complete the game. Okay, I guess I'll wrap up this intro. I'm not used to doing this scripted content or editing. I'm actually quite outside of my comfort zone at the moment. I usually just play the game, talk over it, and then poop it out onto YouTube. But, I wanted to actually put a little bit of effort into something for once, and hopefully you guys will enjoy it, and hopefully if people enjoy these kind of videos, I'll be more inclined to do them, and practice makes perfect. So yeah. The footage is taken from my live stream where I stream Fallout content every Friday at 7 PM UK time. This episode will feature my first session on the PS3 version, so if you're watching this as the series is being produced, feel free to hop in and backseat me, or leave comments in the Twitch chat and all that fun jazz. Okay, so I fire up the game and we get a stutter on the logos. I've already got frame drops on the opening logos. That's not a good sign. We wake up and have to name our character. They're autosave, I believe. Oh my goodness! We got what's this? A fucking Nokia? Look at this keyboard. I can move it around as well. That's really clunky. Only other game I've seen the number pad was on Demon Souls. Sadly, we didn't get the head spin glitch on Doc Mitchell. Our character is Jim West, Desperado, Rough Rider, so on, so forth. I'm going with a cowboy build because I had a poll and that's what won. Oh god, this is going to be so bad. So, naturally, with the fact that I can't play this game for shit with a controller, because it just feels clunky as hell. It feels like, at least with like Resident Evil, that feels like it was designed with a controller in mind. Whereas Fallout New Vegas, when it was to be developed, it was like, oh shit, we're going to make this for console. So 30 FPS, if we're lucky. Yeah, the controls feel unnatural to me, so I'm building around VAT and critical hits to help me through the situation. I'll leave my build in the description. Sadly, with no DLC, I can't take light touch, which is one of my go-to perks in this game. My tag skills are guns, lockpicking, and speech. I don't usually level lockpicking, but we need to pump it up early for a decent revolver. The traits we're taking are trigger discipline for accuracy and built to destroy for crit chance. This is the first cell of the playthrough, and the game is already lagging. Oh god, there was a delay for the item menu to pop up. Oh god, that is slow. Even looting is slow. Oh no, we're in for a treat today, aren't we? I noticed that the stim packs were really cheap in the day one version. Its value was increased in a patch, probably as a balancing decision due to how busted the courier stash made the early game and how valuable mid-game loot was. I have a bit of a scare where the save and load option is grayed out. Wait, why can't I say? Oh, fuck, wow. Game. Don't fucking scare me like that with grayed out save icon, save menu. Oh my goodness. Game was like, yeah, you're not going to save. We're going to do this all in one run, right? This is a run-of-the-mill playthrough. Start game, help Sunny Smiles. Oddly enough, Cheyenne's eyes were still in her head after the fight.
Here's a little spending money for the trouble.
Weirdly, the tutorial ends early. Maybe because I opened the crafting menu before she gave me the healing powder quest. I didn't even have Brock flower on my person. Also, something to note is that the items ready to craft aren't moved to the top. This was added in a patch too. I almost died to coyotes because I forget that I don't have any of the courier stash armor. We're also playing this game on very hard and hardcore because that's the only way I play. Not a flex, but with balancing changes across various patches, I wanted to compare the game's difficulty and feel using the same settings is the best way to do that. We continued on with Goodsprings, meet Ringo, play a caravan, get a trophy, and Ringo throws some kind of tantrum. We fight the powder gangers and, well, I guess all these NPCs are making the game lag. This is the first major fight of the game, and the frame rate is shaky. Luckily, the powder gangers are quite weak, and the Goodsprings town people are pretty accurate and damaging. Oh my goodness. This isn't even a bit... What the fuck is Hoover Dam gonna look like? After all that is settled, an old friend shows up. Oh, for fuck's sake, is that who I think it is? Can't be bargained with, can't be reasoned with. What the hell? Oh my god, the town people are against him! They know. even Goodsprings is done with his crap. Oh no. Thought the game was gonna break there. I can't believe the entire like all of Goodsprings just gunned down Malcolm Holmes right in front of us. That has to be like the best Malcolm kill in the history of Fallout. Over near Lone Wolf Radio, I started getting XP randomly. Turns out it's Victor. I don't think this is in the final version. I always thought I had to do the majority of the damage to get XP. Maybe Victor has made a temporary companion here until he has his forced dialogue with you. Sadly, Victor couldn't handle the geckos and died, like a dog. I noticed that there's a lot less grass as well. There's a lot less grass, like I can see this here, clearly. I encounter some more powder gangers and notice that they are more accurate to the point where they're shooting dynamite out of my hand or out of the air. Oh hey, catch. Oh shit, they shot the fucking the dynamite out of my hand. Yeah, it's never good when they can just shoot the fucking dynamite right out of your hands. The powder gangers seem to be extremely weak in this version. I'm playing on very hardcore, but they seem to be dropping quicker than usual. I do get some critical hits, but I don't think that they're this flimsy in the final release. How did I kill him in one hit? Weird.
Patrolling the Mojave almost makes you wish for a nuclear winter.
What the fuck? Why are they all dying instantly? Yeah, it's very hard. Not very hard. On my way to Sloan, I see a flying gecko. I think I've already made the bad impression because I get angry. What the fuck was that? Did anyone else see that? Just a random corpse flew across. Is this it? Was this the thing that I saw fly? It must have been. We don't usually get geckos in this part of the town. We stop at Sloan for a few skill books and then head towards Primm and get welcomed by the NCR trooper. I travelled down low to grab the ammo, and who the fuck is this? He's not here in the final game. Yeah, there's an NCR trooper here that was patched out. I know clipped on the PC version to see if he was moved underground, but there's now zero trace of him in the final release. Weird, I checked his inventory and there's nothing special, not even a dog tag. In fact, the game nearly crashed just from me entering his pocket. And there's a trophy for 50 successful pickpockets. God damn. Relationships, oh my god, the pickpocket screen is... By the way, if I wanted to save scum for pickpocketing, I have to save the game in this awkward menu, then back out, press X while it's hidden, and it'll take a week for it to actually... Oh my goodness. Menus, they're so slow. We cross the bridge and enter Primm proper and get attacked. Shit, these guys are already on us. But wait a minute, why is there so many people? In the final version, the convicts are in between the casino and the hotel entrances. Oh god, get the fuck, what the fuck's going on? No, the bugs! I can't do anything! If I were to take an educated guess, and feel free to chime in below in the comments, but I think these extra NPCs were cut due to memory issues. Feel my bum. God. He's holding his gun above his head.
You like that? Get that! Incoming!
He's just loading grenades into that garage. Can't tell what's going on. It's so laggy. I can't tell what's going on. I don't even know if as the game crashed. I don't know. This is the first of many, right? Oh my god. Turn the PlayStation off. I mean, the music was still playing, but I was locked up there. I don't get it. There was only three guys. What the fuck's happening? What the hell's gonna happen with Hoover Dam? Oh wow, loading. It's loading the loading screen. It's loading the loading screen. Round 2, and we sliced them up with Chance's knife that we picked up in Goodsprings. After that, I enter the sheriff's office, and the cowboy repeater is glitching out under the desk, which was mentioned on Reddit. God damn it. Ah, I got you! Okay. Played this multiple times. These convicts seem tougher in this version. Shooting fast, rarely missing. I tried luring them into satchel charges, but the arming time is ridiculous. They blow up instantly when I step on them, but when NPCs step on them, it takes too long, and they're already past them. Damn. They are very accurate with their fucking guns, aren't they? It's like, as soon as they see me crippled, it's like dead money. Okay, maybe I can like scooch around and just repair Eddie. I can't do this alone, so I head to the Mojave Express. I was followed, but it seemed easier to cut these convicts up as they came through the door. What's your favourite Fallout? There we go. God damn, I can't believe we have to resort to this kind of shit. I feel so weak and pathetic. We talked to Johnson Nash in the casino and get a tease for Ulysses, who was originally supposed to be a companion that would have been pro-Legion. He was apparently cut because his dialogue took up too much space on the disc, according to Josh Shoy on one of his live streams. You know, my character's name is Jim West, from Wild Wild West. He's a US Army captain, working under President Ulysses Grant, the namesake for Ulysses from the DLC. I only just made that connection. I start bartering with Johnson Nash, and this is where I noticed that stacked items do not provide a combined weight. This was added with a patch, and honestly, it is a massive quality of life change that makes item management so much easier, especially on hardcore mode. I get caught breaking into a safe, and Primm becomes hostile. This is when I notice Eddie. Oh wow, Vanilla Eddie is not very aggressive. Eddie seems to be slower and less accurate. I enter the Bison Steve Hotel and take out two guys. For some reason, Eddie's music likes to play doubled up sometimes. Oh, his like the battle sound effect like plays twice. We grabbed Lucky and clear out the ground floor. Even took care of a blind and deaf guy. Can I not get it? No. Free Beagle and head upstairs. Not only did Beagle survive, but he actually did most of the kills. Usually he dies on my playthroughs. Whilst exploring Primm, I thought the PS3 Lightning was an addition, but my chat was telling me otherwise. I usually play with effects off, but it looks like the PS3 uses something close to the bloom effect. Next, we head to the Nevada Highway Patrol Station and get completely shredded. These enemies really do feel harder. I don't know if it's a balance difference that might have been altered, or if I'm having weird RNG with enemies crippling my limbs. Inside the station, Vance seems to bug out and fires all my shots at once. I don't know what happened there. Vance just ended. King Crimson just deleted all them turns. In the jail cell, I noticed that I don't get XP for trodding on baby mantises, or manti, whatever. It's only 1 XP difference, but I guess being crushed isn't credited to the player in the original version. Almost forgot to do something. I'm gonna check out the DLC entrance for Lonesome Road. So even though it's the last DLC, judging from the Canyon wreckage, the DLC was planned to happen very early. Even with Johnson Nash's references to the Divide and some deadbeat courier, seeing Lonesome Road graffiti on the day 1 version of this game was quite surprising. There's graffiti in the grenade truck and the buses in both the patched and unpatched versions of the game. Honestly, the patches didn't add or remove anything from this location. It's the DLC itself that did that. With the DLC installed, the bus is moved so the door is facing away from the canyon instead of at an angle. The writing on the side of the house, the Divide, is moved to a plank of wood that's on an upright car. There's a duffel bag with MRE and a lamp added at a nearby rock where the DLC completion loot appears. I'll be looking at all the DLC locations during this playthrough, so please let me know of any particular details you want me to home in on. The game crashes again. Cool. Apparently it does this every hour. Afterwards, it's routine. I headed to the Outpost, picked up some quests from Ghost and Jackson, tried to trade with Lacey, but apparently the economy crashed. Oh, wait, that was my PlayStation. Did the game crash? For fuck's sake, we're in a menu here. Lord. I noticed the NCR face wrap causes NPCs to have a radio filter on their voice, kind of like power armor. I'm not sure if it's a bug or not.
Got business here? When I got this assignment, I was hoping there'd be more gambling.
We go to the ants, and for whatever reason, the VATS button just doesn't work.
Yeah, VATS, you wanna activate? The fuck's going on with the VATS? They're not turning on.
I have no idea why. Looks like the controls get locked up for a little bit.
Oh, there you are.
We kill the ants and loot the nectar. However, Eddie seems to be near useless in combat. His fire rate is slow, his damage is low, and he gets overwhelmed and dies. I reload the save and see that we're back at the outpost. The joys of not being able to spam quick save, I guess. And with that, I end my first session with the PS3 and unpatched version of Fallout New Vegas. I have to admit, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, and my general first impressions is PC with bad controls. The game crashed just as much as it would do on an unmodded PC version, and seeing the extra NPCs and the slight changes in balance makes me curious about what else I'll find.
Yeah! Who won the lottery? I did!
Spoiler alert, this is not the last time this will happen. After reaching Novac, we head to the Mojave Drive-In. Much like the canyon wreckage, the patches don't really change the appearance of this location. We pass Wolfhorn Ranch and over to this bridge. In the final version of the game, there's always 2 merchants spawning in, but on the day 1 release, there is no merchants to be found. This came to me as quite a shock because by this point I had quite a lot of loot that I wanted to dump. What's also missing is members of Caesar's Legion. Usually there's a few near the billboard ready to ambush, but they're also missing. There's also an NCR patrol nearby that appears in both versions of the games. In the final release, I think it adds quite a lot to the story because you see these NCR and Legion soldiers fighting each other, but then you got the merchants that's caught in the middle. We reach Novac, and for some reason, Victor spawned in, and he's still dead. I go and steal that gun from Cliff Briscoe, and honestly, I went into this thinking it would be a good weapon of choice to use in this playthrough, but it ended up being pretty terrible. I believe the reason for this is because the gun was buffed in a patch. In the final version, it has higher damage per shot and faster fire rate. A lot of guns were changed in various patches, and I won't get into all of them, but another one that stood out to me was Pew Pew. In the day 1 version, it holds 30 energy cells, and each attack costs 15 energy cells. In the final version, it holds 10 energy cells, and each shot fires 5 energy cells. The damage, from what I can tell, is the same, but obviously in the original version, Pew Pew just chewed through all your energy cells. The game crashes again. When loading the game, I noticed that each save file is getting gradually bigger. We're not that far into the game, so the crashes and the frame rate and stability isn't much of an issue, but as we get deeper and deeper into this character, the more unstable this game is going to get. In the background footage, I'm currently working on the Come Fly With Me quest. After Boone teabags this Nightkin, and the Nightkin probably deserved it, we head down into a dining area where we find the food processor from Fallout 3. The food processor has a decent value, but unfortunately it wasn't programmed correctly and only works with gumdrops and junk food. This could have potentially been a good item for hardcore difficulty. For example, they could have made it where uncooked food didn't give you -2 strength, maybe reduce it to -1 strength instead. But unfortunately, instead of fixing it or implementing it properly, the developers decided to just cut it out completely. This item is no longer available in the final version of the game. After travelling a bit further, I decided to drop down a safety save. The pause screen is completely broken for some reason. Like it's been punched through or something, I don't know, it looks like it's been punched through. It's a good thing I did save because a few minutes later, my game crashes. I think maybe the fire ants might have overheated the console or something. Actually, I'm not too sure about that. Every so often I'll put my hand on the PS3 to check its heat, and it's pretty cool, to be honest. It's not overheating or anything or making any loud noises. So these crashes in this game doesn't cook the console. We finally reached the 188 trading post. Although the game does stutter towards the end, I almost panicked that it was going to crash again. And this area has had quite a few NPCs cut from it. Over by the slop and shop, there are 2 cut NPCs, the Destitute Traveller and the Water Brahmin. Not sure why they were cut, but it was a shame because it really added to the area, made it feel more lived in. As you can see in the PC footage, they were cut out in a patch. Also, I felt like the Destitute Traveller gave somewhat of a tease to New Vegas itself.
I sat down at a roulette table with my life savings. An hour later, it was gone. The strip's got more gorgeous women than I've ever seen in one place, and most of them's affordable. I really have more important things to do. Sorry. Back home, we don't waste time talking to strangers either. Can you spare some caps, mister?
The gun runners at the 188 are also different. One of them is like patrolling up top,
Man, I love my guns.
and the second female guard is standing by Alex. This female guard was cut, not too sure why, but in the final version of the game, only the male guard is left. He's repositioned and constantly next to Alex. Another weird thing is the pathing. There's a lot of NCR troopers down here that usually aren't. One's even sleeping in a bed. I believe this was fixed in one of the patches. One last thing I want to cover is the merchants in this game. For this example, we'll use the arms merchant, but this will apply for pretty much every merchant in the game. From what I can tell, in the day 1 version, the merchants don't really sell much of anything. In fact, later on in the playthrough, I had a big issue with just finding 45-70 rounds, even at the gun runners. By the looks of it, there was a patch that made merchants sell more stuff. In the day 1 version, the arms merchant doesn't really sell much of anything, whereas the PC final patch version, she has quite a lot of inventory. And I don't even have the gunrunner's arsenal installed. This is literally what she gets without any DLC installed. I've done a rough cut of a video for the first session. The game already crashed. Holy shit, that was fast. That's right, the game crashes within the first few minutes of starting the session. We're heading towards Boulder City to do the Boulder City Showdown quest. There isn't too much to comment on here, except for the fact that there's no Forscrete. In the original version, you have to manually walk up to Jessup and speak to him, whereas in the final version of the game, dialogue will be initiated as soon as you enter the building.
What the hell? You're that courier Benny wasted back in Goodsprings.
I have some good news though. Victor's alive!
Fancy meeting you here, friend.
Since we were close by, I figured it would be a good chance to check out Hoover Dam before we have to visit it for any quests. In between the first and second guard tower, there's a scaffolding system on the side of Hoover Dam that was cut in a patch. The only way to access this plank walkway, or scaffolding, I'm not too sure what you would want to call it, but the only way to access it is with a hard lockpick skill. I'm not too sure why they would cut it. I'm assuming it's to do with performance issues. But speaking from personal experience with Hoover Dam at the end of the game, I have to say that the scaffolding was a really useful tool to use to flank around enemies and not just run in, guns blazing and just spamming stim packs. As you can see from the footage, there's no items in this walkway. I think it's purely there just as an option for flanking enemies during the final battle. I guess the only thing you'd lose out on is the XP from picking the 2 locks.
Hello.
Something I clocked on the unpatched PS3 version whilst leaving Hoover Dam was that the spillway was active. As far as I knew, I thought that was cut content. I guess it's removed content now? I'm not too sure. All I know is it's not active on PC version. I reached Freeside and noticed quite a few significant changes. For a start, the rat is being chased by 2 kids instead of 1, a boy and a girl. The girl was cut in a patch. She doesn't have any unique dialogue or much to say. Weirdly enough, she does have the little boy voice after you kill the rat and she thanks you.
Thanks, mister. Thanks, mister.
Another standout change for me was the walls separating the sections of Freeside. They are significantly shorter than they are in the final version of the game.
Got stuff we're not even allowed to sell, people. Only at Mick and Ralph's.
The ruins across the street from Mick and Ralph's have 2 pillars that were cut in a patch. Also, a wrecked bus outside of Cerulean Electronics was removed in a patch. I am not sure why some of these things were removed, but I do have a theory. That theory is they were making space for the bigger walls. Like, in order to implement the taller walls, they had to cut stuff out to make space. If that makes any sense? I'm not too sure if that's how it would work. So they got rid of inconsequential things, like the little girl, these stone pillars, and a wrecked bus that's off in a corner people will probably only pass once per playthrough. Oh, you know, maybe the lone wolf radio DJ kidnapped the girl. A fairly significant cut from my observation is the smoking barrels. In the PS3 version, every barrel had an intense smoke effect, whereas in the final patched version, some of the smoke effects are toned down a bit and some barrels even have the smoke effect missing. The smoke caused quite a lot of stability issues and even crashed the game a couple of times. God, the smoke effects on the barrels. I go into the Atomic Wrangler and start gambling. For some reason this inspires me to open up the Vicky and Vance casino. So we go back to Primm, kill Layla, and then return in a few days. Once we return, the Vicky and Vance casino is open for business. I'll be honest, in all my years of playing this game, I've never actually used the Vicky and Vance casino before. Annoyingly, even with 8 luck, I seem to be losing pretty bad. Like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but the blackjack, I'm not steamrolling it as well as I usually do, which is annoying. The maximum amount of winnings is not that high compared to the strip casinos, which is understandable because the Vicky and Vance is very run down. I had an interesting bug happen. Not sure if it was patched out or if it's a day 1 issue, but whenever I turned in my chips at the desk, I would get the caps, but the chips would not be removed from my inventory. Infinite money? No, you can't be serious. This would mean I could turn in my chips infinite amount of times and get infinite amount of caps. Again, this was my first playthrough where I actually used the Vicky and Vance casino, so I'm not sure if this bug is common, but let me know in the comments if you've ever seen this happen before. Needless to say, money was no longer an issue for this playthrough. I swing over to the Northern Passage to check out the Honest Hearts DLC entrance. Much like the previous 2 locations, only the DLC being installed changes the location. Key difference being boulders blocking the cave. There isn't any differences between the unpatched version and the final patched version without the DLC installed. Something to note is the Northern Passage cave does have an interior without the DLC installed, although you have to no-clip your way to get into it. It pretty much looks the same and has an inactive door at the end of the cave taking you back to the Mojave Wasteland, and there's no NPCs or items inside, and it's not as well lit. I saved the game inside the cave and then quit out and reload the game after I re-enable the DLC to see what would happen. The game loads up normally and I don't move locations, nothing weird happens. Here's a strange thing that was patched out of the game. Not too far from the Northern Passage, there's a house that's filled with fiends. This house is like an interior cell on the outside. It's kind of weird. It's unique to itself, but that's not what stands out. One of the fiends is shooting me with a blue energy weapon, and at first I didn't know what it was because I'm so inexperienced with this particular weapon. When I killed him, he drops a pulse gun. Now in the day 1 version, the pulse gun was part of like the random loot drops that you can get in enemies in the world. Which was not intentional. In fact, it's supposed to be found in Vault 34 as part of a quest line. And because we got lucky and found it early game, we were able to actually skip Veronica's quest straight to the end after entering Elijah's shack. I have a pulse gun. Yeah, there we go. See, the quest is immediately completed. Nothing around, nothing. Thank you, random fiend that we killed 3-4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, whatever. A few months ago. I head into Vault 11 to check out an XP glitch. Annoyingly, the game crashes twice when I enter the living quarters. Apparently that's not even a day 1 issue, apparently that exists even today. When I was checking game facts about this bug, people were saying it was to do with the autosave. I've never experienced this personally on PC, but Apparently it wasn't ever fixed, so yeah, that happened to me twice.
Oh, don't tell me it's crashed again. Can't be real.
We cleared Vault 11, and the glitch takes place at the end at the final terminal.
The whole glitch that was patched out was not even a glitch, it's more of an oversight. But basically, at the end of this dungeon, go on the mainframe, and you could automate response Vault 11 solution. Get 500 XP, which is good. But the computer doesn't close and the option is still there, so whole lot of XP. Too much XP, maybe. Maybe I overdid it. Lord.
During Vault 11 and a few other parts of the game, I noticed that I was having issues with the Lucky Revolver and other manually loaded weapons.
Why do I not have... Why is this gun always empty when I pull it out? God damn it, Eddie. You weren't supposed to... Guy. What the hell? I still haven't loaded my gun!
Usually when you equip a weapon or switch between weapons with the hotkeys, the gun that gets equipped is usually full on ammo, but for whatever reason, Lucky was always at 0 bullets. Lever action shotgun was also stuck at 1 shell out of 5. Obviously this put me in situations where I was pulling out an empty gun during combat.
Like the only weapon in the game. Like, if I load this up now, switch up to the shotgun, then switch back to the revolver. See, it's empty. Why is it empty? Oh yeah, again, notice the bug last session where every time I select this revolver, it comes out of my empty. So you see I've got it fully loaded here. Now it's empty.
A weird quirk with the day 1 release is that Oliver Swanick, everyone's favourite boomer, respawns every few days.
There he is. See him. He's over there.
Sadly, there's only one of him at any given time, so we can't stack up a pile of Oliver Swanick corpses. I enter Westside and notice that the NPCs outside of Miguel's pawn shop are different. In the final version of the game, Judah Krieger is usually sat playing checkers or chess. The chessboard? There isn't any pieces, so maybe they're just talking about playing chess. Anyway, he's usually sat in front of the shop and he's consistently there, but in the day 1 version, he's wandering around the streets. There was a patch that edited the AI scripting. Something to note, and apparently this still exists in the final version of the PlayStation version of this game. I couldn't enter the pawn shop in first person view. I had to toggle into third person and awkwardly angle the camera to enter the pawn shop.
Go into third person mode to get inside the shop. There's nothing even worth looking at though, that's the thing.
The next location is Black Mountain. Black Mountain is a weird place to record. I think the super mutant patrols are dependent on the day and night cycle. Near the top of the mountain, by some barrels, there's an ambush. A nightkin will pop out and attack you.
Why are you invisible and hiding behind barrels? Is that necessary? I don't think it is.
This seems to be missing in the final version of the game, and I visited this place both during the day cycle and the night cycle, so I'm not 100% sure if this is supposed to be cut or not. This next one I found kind of odd. The Nightkin sniper was using a hunting rifle instead of Annabelle, and I have no idea why. Every single playthrough I've done of this game, the Nightkin sniper will always be firing Annabelle towards us, and they still had plenty of missiles left. I go and fix up Rhonda, which is usually how I finish this quest. And something I noticed in the Unpatched version is Tabitha, after you leave the building, is surrounded by other Nightkin.
Oh wait, there's a Nightkin master? Oh, she's got like guards. Jesus.
In the final version, Tabitha is by herself. I can only assume this was patched to make the encounter easier. After rescuing Raoul and then meeting him back at his shack, this is where I noticed a weird quirk with dismissing companions. In the final version of the game, companions will teleport to their home location, or the Lucky 38 if they're told to. However, in the day one version, they will actually walk back home.
Okay, I lost its perk. And... oh, wait. That's something... okay, something that they patched in. So... as you see here, Boone is physically walking back to Novac. Will he survive that trip? I don't know. There are Deathclaws here. Hang on a minute, let me see what the situation is. This might have been a bad place to drop him off. Oh, if he's like walking straight down to... he might get f***ing mauled. Oh no. Well, that's what we got. You know what? I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
The next point of interest is a location that I was very interested in checking out. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this series. I'm talking about the no man's land between Camp Forlorn Hope and Nelson. In the background is the final version, and to be honest, it's a pretty unremarkable location. Just a few mines here and there, and just an open space that leads you to the Dead Money DLC entrance. However, the unpatched version, the day one version, this place has a lot more character to it.
Particular letter that was a Camp Forlorn Hope letter that's no longer accessible because they removed it. But you see here, there's people fighting at this location. I see the Legion with the face masks have the radio voice. Got NCR Trooper here. Oh, with a dog tag. Don't mind if I do.
As you can see in the footage, we have NCR troopers and Legion soldiers fighting each other in the middle of this battlefield.
Man, this is a stalemate. These guys suck. Yeah, these guys got 2 dog tags. Ah! Looks like the NCR wins this round. Ah, nice. Domed him. Yeah, here's something. So this is something that was cut. You got an NPC that's still alive and has limbs missing. He's got no arms. And he's next to a landmine.
Stay away. Stay away. Kill me. Kill me. Kill me. Stay away.
Alright, it said kill me. Spill blood. Okay, and it doesn't negatively affect your rep. But nah, what's going on?
Weirdly, after putting a trooper out of their misery, your companions can start shooting the other crippled troopers. Not sure why this is. I'm going to assume it's because they're all part of the same faction. If you kill one, you aggro all of them. But since they don't technically fight back, it's like, I don't know, open season. It's really weird seeing your companions getting a bit trigger happy with people that are bleeding to death on a battlefield. Much like Oliver Swanick, these NCR troopers do respawn every few in-game days, which allows you to obtain dog tags repeatedly. Also, for some reason, these guys have 2 dog tags on them instead of 1.
Dearest Andrew, I'm writing this seems pretty morbid, but tomorrow we march into no man's land between our camp and Nelson, which is crawling with Legion. The Major insisted I write this damn if you get this I'm dead letter, so here it is. What a crock. I have the look of the devil and your love on my side, so I'll be home soon to keep the porch light on for me. We'll party in New Vegas when I get back. I love you, Devin.
So this was cut because this guy's a homosexual, and we cannot have homosexuality in our Fallout game. No, I'm joking. Inappropriate jokes aside, Camp Forlorn Hope Letter 9 is no longer available in the final version of the game. And like the dog tags and the troopers, this letter also respawns in the day 1 version. Up next is the abandoned Brotherhood of Steel bunker. During the streams, I did mistakenly think that the bunker was locked up when you had the final patch but the DLC uninstalled due to a bug or oversight that was introduced in one of the patches. But it turns out that this location is pretty much the same as any other DLC location, where the patches don't really affect what the location looks like or acts like. Only having the DLC installed does that. However, we'll have a look around to see what's what. As you can see, there's a few differences without any DLC installed. The lighting in the room is a lot darker, there's less debris, there's also no corpse on the floor with the Sierra Madre jumpsuit. This is similar to Canyon Wreckage having Lonesome Road items located at it, as well as graffiti and references relating to the Sierra Madre. There's some fresh graffiti at the bottom of the stairs, just above the doorway. Sierra Madre. The DLC also adds a door, which serves as a prompt to ask the player if they're sure they want to start Dead Money. So we go down to the abandoned Brotherhood of Steel. Obviously, because there's no DLC, got Sierra Madre poster. In the lower parts of the bunker, you go down the hallway and turn left. There's a locked door, a terminal, and a safe. Without the DLC installed, none of these are present, and you can gain access to the room immediately. With the DLC installed, this workshop area has a more lived-in feel. There's a lot of books, a bed, foot lockers, and the vending machine from the Dead Money DLC. Without the DLC installed, this location lives up to its name. This room looks very abandoned, with like empty cans and bottles littered around, and there's no bed here, just a weapons workbench. In both versions there's a Dean's Electronics book next to the entrance to this room. At the end of the hallway is the DLC entrance, which is activated through a trap when you approach the radio. I decided to no-clip around this trap to see what's inside the foot lockers. It's mostly power fists and bullets. With no DLC installed, the room is just made up of cots, a load of shelves with a load of junk on it. A cot. Some empty foot lockers. Beans, tin cans, bullets, just randomly generated loot, I guess. Oh, this has foot locker in it. Power fist. Okay, power fists. Something I wanted to test out with this area was saving the game without the DLC and then loading the game with the DLC. When it starts, I would still be located inside the Northern Passage, whether the DLC was installed or not. The abandoned bunker changes a lot more dramatically than the Northern Passage tunnel. I do a couple of saves, one involving me sitting at the table, one involving me crouched in the corner of the trap room, and one just me standing. When I loaded these saves after enabling the DLC, I would always spawn outside of the bunker. The save file that was crouching would remain crouched, but the save file that was sitting would be stood up. Something else to note is that the abandoned Brotherhood of Steel bunker is locked. There's no key for this bunker, and it remains locked until the quest for the DLC is added. At Camp McCarran, there are significantly more NPCs on the day 1 version. I notice this immediately when I hear gunshots from behind me. In the final version of the game, I've never seen anyone actually using the firing range. The most significant cut would be the obstacle course. In the stream, I mistakenly thought that this area was completely removed, but the structure still exists in the final version of the game. What was cut was a couple of NPCs that were running the course and doing push-ups, as well as a drill sergeant with an eye patch. I can only assume this content was removed to improve stability in the area, and because it was in such an out-over-the-way area of the airport, it would make sense that it was cut. It would have been nice to see the training area move to a different location. Maybe Camp Golf?
Move it, move it, move it! Get those legs up, you sorry bastards! Move it, move it, move it! Get those legs up, you sorry bastards!
No, Raoul, he's not talking to you.
Move it, move it, move it! Get those legs up, you sorry bastards! Move it, move it, move it! Get those legs up, you sorry bastards!
He has an eye patch as well. So yeah, the drill sergeant, this was completely patched out.
Move it, move it, move it! Move it, move it, move it! Get those legs up, you sorry bastards!
Man, Doc Kemp really fixed me up right the last time I got shot. He's the man to see if you need some fixing. These recruits aren't ready if the Legion comes knocking. Either join the recruits running the course or leave the area.
And finally, the rocket launcher schematic from Fallout 3, which can be found in Nellis Air Force Base. This weapon cannot be crafted at a workbench, and therefore it was completely useless and then cut from the game, much like the food processor. Here it is. Schematics for the rocket launcher, or the jump jet as it's called in Fallout 4. Pick that up. Our workbench combined vacuum cleaner, leaf blower, nozzle, and conductor. But I'm afraid you cannot make the rocket launcher in this game. Today we're going to talk about some of the other worldly quirks of this game. I don't know. I don't know what to say. In the background, we see we're going into the infamous Red Rock Canyon, which apparently is one of the most performance-intensive places in the game. And it shows in the background footage with various freezes. What did it? No, that was the biggest lag spike ever. Okay, man, he has nothing to say. As you can see, there's various issues popping up at the moment. Audio lines not playing, textures not popping in, NPCs taking a while to load in, and the game just overall dropping frames and freezing.
Yeah.
You know, these NPCs just popping in. Oh my god, the textures. What's going on? I think the game was like, you're trying to save? Fuck you. We're not having this. Oh, wait. I think we made it. I think we made it. I think we're good. I'm doing the Abba Dabba honeymoon quest line for the Great Khans. After rescuing Hulk Hogan, I fast traveled back to Red Rock Canyon, and the load time is pretty ridiculous. Like, I almost questioned whether the game crashed or not. Whilst I'm showing this uncut loading screen in the background, let me point out the fact that this character is pretty old. It's been doing a lot of stuff, and that was kind of the point of this playthrough, was to do as much as possible with one character. And as you can see by the save files, the file size gets bulkier and bulkier and bulkier. Now, apparently this bloated save problem can be exacerbated if you're one of them people who uses only one save file, like overwrite the same file over and over again. Me personally, I always create a new save, but even that wasn't enough to prevent the amount of jank that we came across. Not only that, but there is a limit to how many files you can save over, so we were inevitably starting to overwrite older saves. Yeah, these save files are getting gradually more and more chunkier. I mean, there's some anomalies where it'll go down a little bit, but for the most part, we've got an upward curve. Oh, it's taking a while. But fast traveling to Red Rock Canyon. I'll do it. Yeah, this loading screen lasts about 2 minutes. I would usually edit this kind of stuff out, but I had to show you guys how bad it really was. Whilst the game is loading, why don't you load your hand onto that mouse and then drag it down to the like button. You click the button for the like, yeah. And then you drag it to the left and hit subscribe. How about that? Also, you can drag it down to the description and join my Discord, follow me on Twitch, and all the other shenanigans as well. Also, check out the previous episodes of this series. After all, this is the 5th part, and if you're here randomly and you haven't seen the previous ones, you should go check them out, because I might have already covered something you're interested in. The next section of this very disorganized video will be dedicated to companion quests and their weirdness, or at least the companion quests I did in this playthrough. In the final version of the game, Cass's questline and the Van Graff's questline cannot be completed at the same time. For in the final version, you either side with the Van Graffs, which results in the death of Cass, or you complete Cass's questline, which results in either the Van Graffs dying or aggroing on you. I opted to go for the peaceful route for Cass's ending, which meant handing all evidence over to the NCR at the Mojave Outpost. In the final version of the game, somehow the Van Graffs find out about this and they will shoot you on sight. However, on the unpatched version, the Van Graffs have no clue. This allows the player to do Cass's questline first and then the Van Graffs after, allowing you to do both questlines in a single playthrough. A final note on Cass. I had read online that Cass was more talkative with NPCs in the unpatched version. Honestly, I did not really notice much of a difference, so I can't really comment or add any clips showing that. After the, what do you call it? Casino. This guy's trying to false creep me now. He didn't like false creep because I was too far away from him. How far can this go? Fucking Simon just wants to take our shit off of us so we can go inside. When doing Eddie's questline, I was lucky enough to hear the temporary voiceover that was patched out.
Hi, are you there? Oh, right. You can't respond. Listen, I'm using your robot as a relay to get this message to you. I've picked up some unusual chatter regarding your robot. It seems that it has some information that we could use. Oh, wait, where are my manners? This is Lorenzo, a knight with the Brotherhood of Steel. We'd be very interested in examining your tech.
Could you bring your robot to one of our patrols so they can examine it? I'll have the robot mark the location on your map.
Oh, it played! It fucking played!
Sorry to break in. He sounded truly riveting. I don't want to keep you much longer, but I'd like to make a counter-suggestion. I'm with the followers of the apocalypse. We're much more liberal about the sharing of technology than those Brotherhood people. Bring your robot to us. We'll see that whatever information it may have on it is used for the greater good.
I had a strange moment east of Brooks' Tumbleweed Farm. Usually this mercenary camp is very shoot on sight, but in the day one version, why y'all...
Runner son of a bitch. Good riddance. Primm has a new sheriff. That should keep the powder gangers away.
Wait, you guys are supposed to be...
finally put down that sick motor runner son of a bitch. Good riddance.
Wait, you guys are supposed to be hostile against us. Like, you're supposed... They're supposed to attack us...
That should keep the powder gangers.
They're supposed to attack us on sight, and this guy's supposed to have a unique, like, Gauss rifle. What the fuck's going on? What? Yep, there it is. It's the unique Gauss rifle. To be honest, I don't know if this is a day one quirk or if it's something that just happened to me randomly on this playthrough. Typically, these guys will shoot you as soon as you're detected.
Hey there. Hey there.
I've got you now. Had enough?
Point out that there is, in the final version of this game, there is a duck and cover book on this table. It's all there. Alright, so I'm gonna lie, I had written in my notes that there was a pond here that was patched out.
Do a barrel roll.
But it's not. God damn it, Kira! You know how dizzy that makes me? In the final version of the game, Deathclaws have a damage threshold of 15. However, in the day 1 version, they have a damage threshold of 30. Now, as I stated in a previous video, a lot of weapons were buffed. So, what we're looking at here is pre-buffed guns versus pre-nerfed Deathclaws, which means Deathclaws are actually scary again.
Really? What the fuck? He just took no damage. What the hell? He's taking no damage.
It also means Quarry Junction takes a long time to beat. Now, I actually tried to frenzy the mother by killing her young, but that didn't seem to work very well. So I ended up having to perch up in a spot where they couldn't reach and just unload all my bullets. I also put my companions way outside of the quarry because if they started shooting the Deathclaws, they would draw the aggro and instantly die.
Oh, this is a perfect opportunity. That's a miss. There we are. So she's in the middle of all that with everybody else now. I hope they're not going for I hope they're not going for Raoul and Eddie. Because they have no reason to, they're so far out. Come on, rules of nature. Nope, never mind, no rules of nature, no epic fight. Okay, let's go with slasher, steady slash shot, 2 shots off in one direction, and I'll do now. God, if I have to use something horrible. Yes, panic, 20 damage threshold doing that. Yeah, just keep one shot like that, should have a problem. Okay, I have the final list, so I don't find out, I guess. This is awful, this is not, this is gameplay. This is the $87 for all that predictions, because you know, no bonus. I'll set my round for what we're doing here. Something around. Oh, we got that. Oh, we have that, but I don't. No, still like it. Oh, you that Alpha. There we go, with him. Oh, no. That's what is that? She's big. What's it? Oh, honestly, the notifications are kind of catching up. I lost the draw as well. I'm going to say that because I think we can't retreat this design at all, so I thought I'll we'll break right up. Maybe. I don't know, the long time is pretty durable. I really used it for other playthroughs. Because it was killing the guys to get it, but I should have taken it. Wait, I don't know the place. So, definitely right. Definitely there. Okay, game here. Yeah. Yeah, might be definitely good for an situation. Might be the backfield. Well, when she starts playing, because I thought 6, you know?
I went and visited the tribal village, which is usually swarmed with cazadors and corpses. However, for some reason, these corpses weren't corpses. They were alive. They were alive, but albeit with low health. So when I approached the tribal village, cazadors and undead NPCs were fighting each other. The poison sound effect is played at full volume whenever NPCs get attacked by cazadors, no matter how far away they are.
Hey, look at that. All these fiends are still alive. They're not supposed to be alive.
A weird bug that happens with your followers is that if they get hit with cazador poison, a stim pack may actually drain their health rather than recover it.
Oh yeah, the New Vegas clinic is actually locked in the unpatched version. It has opening and closing hours, if you can believe it. Not red, so it's not a crime. we go. So we're addicted to ant nectar. Something interesting about ant nectar in the original release is, as you see there, we've got withdrawals because we're addicted to, you know, nectar, buff out, and mentats. Pretty bad. If we pop our fixer, we cure it. We cure our addictions. Only the nectar is still there. The nectar addiction is still there. Why? Fixer only helps us cure our addiction to drugs, but not nectar? Okay, that's weird. That's alright then. We'll just talk to No Chin Lynn here. And she can cure our addiction, right?
You're back.
Can you cure my addiction?
You really ought to avoid using those kinds of chems, but...
Alright, here's the caps.
Alright.
So she detoxes me. I feel great, doctor. Thank you. Addiction's removed. And I'm still addicted to nectar. So in the unpatched version of Fallout New Vegas, you cannot remove nectar addiction at all. And that's a permanent debuff of -2 strength. Like I said, they fixed that in a patch, but that's quite a heavy toll for people who played this game on day one. Alright, I'm going to wrap up this video now. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. I'm going to leave you with a collection of all the deaths that Oliver Swanick had in this playthrough. Again, I did not reload any previous saves. This is all just, you know, Oliver Swanick dying over and over again because he respawns. I don't know why, but he respawns every few days. So here's every death that he had across my entire playthrough. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and all that fun jazz. I will see you whenever I will see you. There's other videos coming out on a weekly basis if you, you know. But yeah, thanks for watching. Goodbye. I missed. You should have kept running. That went. That was a bizarre occurrence. I like how Oliver Swanick's like clothes. He doesn't do the forced greeting with you though. He just does the. There we go. So that's one Oliver Swanick. That's 2 dead. I have an Oliver Swanick kill counter now. There we go. The scorpions. I'll play with my food. I'm gonna cut off his legs. Oh wow, one-shotted him. I guess it was a sneak critical. Respawn. Oh look, there he is. Fucking wrong with him. He did respawn. Oh, don't crash. I want to kill him. We even got a little challenge for it as well. A little bit. Oh, see a blue arrow. Is that what I think it is? Yep, there he is. He's back. He's back. Time for round 5. Oh my god, he keeps respawning
its existence. He was born to suffer. Oh, you scared? It doesn't get old. It really doesn't. I love it. I love it. Oh, there he is. Fucking chicken shit. Get over here. Oh, wow. We actually killed him. What's the game crashed? Or is it just dropping in frames? Nope, dropped in frames. Just massive stutter there. Today we're going to be looking at some of the stuff on the strip. First things first, look at the lights. The lights in the PS3 version are pretty much switched off. However, in the PC version, everything's nice and glowing and shiny. In the second section of the strip, there's a noticeable difference between some of the AI paths for the street vendor and the Phoebuses. In the Day 1 version, these three NPCs will walk around. Where are
Should
the...
have bet we'd kill the Fiend's leader.
Where? Where's Phoebus and his wife? Okay, you're here. Oh, did you guys just load in?
If you don't mind,
In the final version of the game, the street vendor will remain in one spot, and the Phoebuses will spawn in and then immediately walk to the benches and sit down, and that's where they will remain until you leave the area. Most of the time, at least. Now, I'm going to show you a game-breaking glitch that happens during the Debt Collector. During the quest step where you have to get McClafferty's hat, if you decapitate him and then loot his hat off of his body, the hat will still be on his head, even though you have it in your inventory. If this happens and you re-enter the strip, it will cause the game to crash. Take the money, which isn't even that much. Wrangler key. Ooh, could wear his armor for the sake of, you know, style. His hat's still on the corpse on his head. Okay, there's the crash. Black screen. I can hear music, which is the Fallout 2 music. But nothing's happening now. I'm trying to open up the guide. Nothing's happening. Pausing. Yeah, so nothing's working. So we'll reload. All right, so we simulated that crash. This is why we saved before we killed him. Even like PlayStation taking its time to turn off. I also read online that this particular glitch could also corrupt saves. So if you're one of them single save slot Simons, then this could potentially force you to restart the game. The workaround for this is to simply kill McClafferty with a body shot, ensuring that his head is still attached to his body, and when you loot the hat will be removed from his head. Okay, good. So we should be able to enter and re-enter the this place now. Alright. In the Ultra-Luxe, the Masked White Glove Society members have a voice filter very similar to that of the Brotherhood of Steel. This was later fixed in a patch.
Beg your pardon, but could I trouble you to turn over your weapons?
Beg your pardon, but could I trouble you to turn over your weapons?
In the bathhouse, there are NPCs swimming around in the pool. However, in the final version, these swimming NPCs have been cut. Another weird feature of the bathhouse is that one of the walls has no collision. Oddly enough, I thought this was a day one issue when I was getting some B-roll for the final up-to-date version on PC. I was surprised to see that the wall was still lacking collision. You can see a small cell underneath the steam room. This contains the assassin from the Beyond the Beef quest line that spawns in to assassinate Chauncey. Funnily enough, Chauncey and the assassin have some sort of destiny bond going. If you kill the assassin outside the quest, Chauncey will die no matter where he is located. Finally, we're going to take a quick trip into Gomorrah. One of the stripper cages is bright green and red, almost like a Christmas themed stripper cage. Ho, ho, ho. Get it? No? Okay. This cage was changed later on in a patch to match all the other cages. To wrap up this episode, much like you would wrap up a Christmas gift. Okay, enough of that. Not even... it's September, for crying out loud. Anyway, to wrap up this episode, I'm going to show Gomorrah off in its day one state. Because of all the smoke effects and the fire, the casino floor's frame rate is terrible. So first we're going to see the PC version, the final version, nice and smooth. And then for the outro, I'm going to play a snippet of the live stream, and it's 15 FPS glory. I think I might be being generous saying 15. Capping at 60. Speaking of inconsistency, look at this delicious 15 FPS, 5 FPS. Oh my god, what's going on? What the fuck? I can't do this. It's the whores! The disguise! We need to smuggle whores out of this place. My god, this is like this is a PowerPoint presentation. It's not even a game anymore. Oh god, look at the fire. Oh no. Let's look at the floor. Oh god, that's so bad. Where's this fucking woman at? I can't...
Come on, let's go.
I can't tell what's going on. I thought I was supposed to meet up with the lady and then she follows me out. Oh, there she is. I think. I hope. Like, I literally can't orientate myself to see what I need to do. We're only saving 3 prozzies? God. Yeah, the disguised hookers. Today we're going to be looking at some faction stuff, but first we take a quick stop into Vault 34, former home of the Boomers and Irradiated Nightmare. In this vault you can find an auto-dock machine that you can use potentially to heal Caesar in the late game. In the final version of the game, this auto-dock can be found in the clinic, which makes a lot of sense. However, in the day one version of this game, the auto-dock can be found in a room with turned over furniture and a terminal. However, this section of the vault can only be accessed once you drain a hallway of water. And my assumption would be that this auto-dock would have been submerged in highly irradiated water as well. So not only does it make more sense to have the auto-dock in the clinic, but also if you're salvaging this machine to save someone's life, why would you use a highly irradiated and soaked component? A weird bug that happened whilst I was fighting glowing ones in this vault was that when I got hit with the radiation blast, I gained the cat eye effect, or night vision effect, low light effect, nuka quartz effect. Either way, it was weird. My screen went blue when I got hit with an attack. Not sure if this was a day one bug or just a bug that still exists in the game. This just happened to me for the first time whilst playing this version of the game. I did a safety save outside the Lucky 38 before encountering Benny or Mr. House. I did this so I could do all 4 endings on one character. So when I beat the game on a questline, I could reload and then go back and do everything else. And because I did most of the content in the game, a lot of the questlines could be completed quickly. Funnily enough, on my first completion, the credits had frame rate issues. Like the actual text scroll was choppy. Fallout never changes. God, even the credits have low frame. Oh god, even the credits have FPS drop. Ah, look at the scrolling text. Oh no. And because I had this backup save, I was able to unlock every single safe house during my sessions. These safe houses all have one common problem with the day one version, and that is there is no loot inside them. In the final version of the game, you are rewarded with armor, weapons, magazines, and all sorts of good stuff. However, in the day one version, there is nothing in here. They're all empty. It's just a place to sleep and a bit of water to drink. That is all. In the day one release, because they released they did a patch where basically they made the safe houses actually worth visiting. But I guess we got this skill book, so it's not all bad. Increase our medicine by a meager amount. First safe house I'm showing is the followers of the Apocalypse safe house. In this safe house, you get radiation suits, science suits, energy weapons, a hunting shotgun, plasma mines, and some magazines and chems. The Brotherhood of Steel safe house contains a Gatling laser, a Tesla cannon, power armor, a missile launcher, a minigun, and various ammo. Alright, so in the finished version, we actually get like a shitload of weapons, like Gatling lasers, plasma casters, grenades, all sorts of fun shit. You see, in this version, empty shelves. There is fuck all in here. There is bugger all. Absolutely bugger all. Let's got clean water. We'll go down here and nothing. No armor, no chainsaw, no lucky shades, nothing. Just big fat useless excuse for a safe house. There's nothing in here. Like, it's empty. Like, like, imagine like getting rewarded with these keys and just nothing. The Legion safe house contains various armor, a displacer glove, time bombs, a sniper rifle, a chainsaw, and in my opinion, the most important item in this game, the lucky shades. Honestly, I would suggest befriending the Legion in every playthrough if you're going for a crit build. You don't even need to kill NCR troopers, just save scum and pickpocket NCR dog tags and turn them in at Cottonwood Cove. 50 dog tags is enough to get you liked by the Legion without doing any of their quests and angering the NCR. Although you might find issues recruiting Boone or Arcade. Ranger safe house. This is what we came here for. To get that veteran armor and some other unique stuff. Nope, never mind. Got a little lamplight, sort of indoor. Got rooms inside rooms. And oh, look at that, empty shelves again. Oh god. Finally, we have the NCR Ranger safe house. This safe house contains ranger armor, salvage power armor, hunting shotguns, a carbine, a hunting pistol, but most importantly, you have the armor from the box art. Unfortunately, this is classed as NCR armor and is a disguise, but it is the main way of getting this armor set without killing another ranger. Or you could just go into the Lonesome Road DLC and get the non-disguised version of it. In this next section, we're going to briefly look over the Hoover Dam again, more specifically the route to the Legate camp. On the PC version, instead of playing through the entire game and getting to the end, I decided to fly over the checkpoint, enter it from the back, and then exit it. So we have like the endgame version of Hoover Dam, but with none of the enemies, because the quest isn't technically active. One of the most notable differences when approaching the Legate's camp is that the gateway has been moved. In the final version, it's pretty close to the dam. However, in the day one version of this game, the gateway to the Legate's camp is way further back. I can only imagine that this was done to improve the pacing of this final quest. A little bit further to get to the camp. In the final version, there's a doorway right where the Legion are currently getting killed. the doorway to Legion camp is like just about here. But day one, you have to actually walk down this road, which doesn't really have anything in it. I guess a few extra enemies, but I guess they change for performance reasons, maybe. I don't think it'd help out that much, to be honest. On the PC version, I did no-clip my way past the gate and followed the normal road, and you can still see the framing of the gate where it used to be. And the path is still pretty accurate on the world map. This road goes on quite a bit, and there's even some empty crucifixes, which are referenced in Legate Lanius's dialogue. There's also a third and final gate, but before I could even interact with it, I was transitioned to the Legate camp. When I was going through the PS3 version of this game, every time I entered the Legate camp, something felt a bit off. And now going back, looking at the PC version, I can see what it is. The crucifixes and the rock formations are slightly altered in the final version of the game. I have no idea why they would do this, but it is a weird change. It kind of messed with my head when I was playing. And I think I changed the Legate's camp because all these rocks and crucifixes, I don't remember them being here. Just as a quick throwback to an earlier episode, I make use of the scaffolding that was cut from the game in a patch, allowing me to flank NCR troopers when I was doing the Legion questline. Oh hey, let's flank the troops by going on the scaffolding that was removed from the game. Yeah, I don't know why the scaffolding was removed. It's weird. I guess performance issue stuff, I guess. In the 4 instances that I did the Battle of Hoover Dam, I only seemed to get one game crash, but overall the performance wasn't too bad. In fact, it felt a lot more smoother than the Goodsprings fight at the start of the game. Decreased the volume by 40 decibels. I might as well make use of this side thing that got cut out of the game with a patch. Probably cut for performance issue reasons. Make it louder. Loud enough, isn't it? Alright, game's crashed. I'll be back in a second. I'm gonna go grab a drink. So I beat the game on the same character 4 times, and I even got the Platinum Trophy. And that's that. That's the end of this character, the end of this playthrough, and the end of this series for the foreseeable future. Now, I know there are some glitches and bugs that I did not encounter and I didn't find when doing these streams and doing this series. For example, the XP glitch in Gomorrah where you're punching Big Sal's corpse and constantly getting XP. I couldn't do that because I was already max level, so I couldn't show off that bug. There are other weird quirks like Lily disappearing from the game, among other things, and there are some quest lines I didn't do, like Arcade Gannon's loyalty mission or Boone's loyalty mission. Overall though, I think I had a lot of fun playing this game in its original state. There was a lot of weird quirks and curiosities that I did come across, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the highlights that I showed when playing and editing these videos together. Would I recommend anyone else do this? Maybe once, out of curiosity. There's probably a PC mod that does undo certain changes to the game. Some of the weapon balance changes were really welcome. Like using the day one version of that gun is, I don't know, it's a pretty terrible weapon, but in the final version it's pretty good for the early to mid game. But in day one, like there's no crit bonus, it's like really weak and really slow. The followers, especially Eddie, being incredibly weak in the day one version was a big problem. I'm kind of mixed on other things that were changed as well. For example, the value of stim packs being really low. Basically, they have the same value as they did in Fallout 3 in the day one version, but in the final version of the game, stim packs are really expensive, which I kind of like that. They're supposed to be a rare commodity and a very valuable item in the early game, but the problem with New Vegas is you make money really quickly in that game. Like, it takes a while for you to get rich in Fallout 3, but in Fallout New Vegas, like, you're finding pretty expensive gear before you even reach the Mojave Outpost. And you find... me, personally, I find I have trouble getting rid of loot because all the vendors just run out of caps to sell to. So the whole stim packs being made more expensive kind of felt like a minor fix for a bigger problem. So what's going to happen now with Fallout New Vegas Unpatched? In the first episode, it was incredibly scripted, and there was a bit more editing. And honestly, like, I'm terrible at reading scripts. In fact, I'm terrible at doing the whole voiceover, post-commentary stuff in general. Matter of fact, most of these episodes have been unscripted. The way I've been doing things is basically improvising section by section, and then try and trim out the ums and ahs and dead spaces and stutters. My want to do this series has always been pretty high, but the motivation and work ethic has been in an all-time low. I have the technical know-how to do the editing, but between full-time job and a streaming schedule, I don't know, I just haven't... you know what, I'm just making excuses. I've just been... I don't want to call it laziness, but it is procrastination, but just finding the willpower to make something is pretty rough. I know a lot of people subscribed and watched the first episode, and then the second episode came out over a month after that, and then the release schedule has been pretty terrible for this series. So for that, I do apologize, and if you've been watching the entire series, I do appreciate that. As a matter of fact, I think my next plan now is to take all the edited videos and put them into an omnibus. I don't have the original save files or the timelines for each episode, so it'll be literally me re-rendering each episode back to back and uploading it as a single video. And then after that, I'll be posting all the stream VODs, so you can watch the entire playthrough unedited for your own curiosity and amusement. Something that I found a bit disheartening about making this series was how I would assume I would have a 30-minute episode, and then when I do the voiceover and cut it all together, I've only got about 10 minutes. And like, I'm editing like 20 hours of footage down to like 10-minute videos. It's kind of like, okay, that's it. You know, I figured I would have had like a little bit longer, a little bit more to give you guys, but you know, if I'm just trimming the fat and cutting stuff down, that's yeah, it is what it is. But I think, you know, with this being my first series of edited videos, all I can say is practice makes perfect. So maybe in the future I can make more videos like this on different games. I've actually had a Dark Souls remastered bow only run sitting on my hard drive just waiting to be edited, but I've just not finished it, and that'll probably be an hour to 2 hour long video as well. I said I know how to edit, it's just finding the work ethic and willpower to do it. I managed to get the last 3 episodes of Fallout New Vegas Unpatched edited within a month because I'm taking a break from streaming, and I've been kind of approaching it with a new attitude of like maybe do 2 hours a day with like one goal in mind. So, you know, edit a section in one sitting and then do the voiceovers for each section in different other sittings. So instead of like trying to sit and do editing for 6 hours straight, I do like 1 hour to 2 hours in an evening. Alright, this outro has gone on long enough and I've rambled long enough, so I'm going to sign off. My name is Ash. Thank you all for watching. If you haven't already, like, comment and subscribe. If you haven't seen the previous episodes, go and watch them. They're in a playlist. if you're watching this in the near distant future, you're probably watching the omnibus, or the omnibus is out and you should be watching that instead. And also, the live VODs will be being posted every Friday, so keep an eye out for that. And that'll be that. And once this series is finished, I can actually delete this folder. I've got a Fallout New Vegas folder, 500 gigabytes of footage, and I can get rid of it finally. Don't worry, I have many terabytes of space, but 500 gigs of footage sitting on your computer for 6 to 7 months. Sounds like big YouTuber talk, and you look at my view counts, I'm not a big YouTuber, so it is what it is. Anyway, hope you all enjoy. Have a good day, have a good night, have a good forever. Follow me on Twitch, subscribe to me on YouTube, join the Discord, all that malarkey. I will see you when I see you. Thank you. Bye.